Hello, welcome students to our another section of lecture on shell programming or shell script. You know that we are continuing our series of lecture on shell programming, one part, and in other part we have started for other topic also in this paper. So today I will continue with shell programming lectures, and you know that many starting aspect of shell programming we have covered, and now we are discussing currently in the decision control already we have discussed, and now we are discussing about the loop control structure. And within the loop control structure already we have discussed uh, about the while loop and basic structure of the while loop, and some example also on the while loop like that. And here is an example. We will start from here also. I think in this previous session of lecture was concluded here. So this is an example of how while loop execute and how it is useful for repeated execution of an executable statement. Now after this program already have discussed this program is an example of infinite loop, actually where there is no exit condition. So in this loop the exit condition never get false, so no terminating condition is there for this loop, because the variable count loop variable always fixed to 1. So that's why uh, this is an example of an infinite loop in the while loop. Now move forward to the next slide. Now here another one example we have given, where we have taken the loop variable as an floating point value. So purpose of this program is to demonstrate that the loop variable not necessarily be an integer. The loop variable may be a floating point variable also. And here you can see that in this program floating point loop counters or loop variables or loop variable increment or decrement, that also can be done. And here another one thing, if you use floating point variable, so in that case you can do the increment decrement by any value, not necessarily by one or any integer. So in this example we have taken an example of while loop program where we are using the floating point loop variable and increment and decrement. So here suppose we have taken a loop variable equal to 5.0. So here we have taken in C. So considering C as a loop variable, we are we are getting 5.0, and the while condition is there, that while $C, that means the value of the loop variable $C less than equal to minus LE, minus LE stand for less than equal to, so minus LE 20.0. So here the condition will be checked, and if this condition is satisfied, then the loop body will start with do comment, do keyword, and under the do keyword two execute statement is there, that echo hello and echo world. That means hello and world, these two words will be displayed in the display device, and then the loop variable c will be, here you can see it is incremented here in this following expression $c plus 0.1, and here uh, in this case the loop will be repeatedly perform its task until the loop while condition get false. Now suppose here if we take here, then the fact that the exit status is being reported as 0 means the test was satisfied. This is because while comparing real numbers using minus EQ, that means equal to test, the fractional part is ignored and only the integer part is used to carry out the comparison. Now this is an example of how we are using the while loop variable with floating point number. So here the benefit is we can increment or decrement the loop variable, not necessarily by 1 or any multiple of 1. We can do it by any fractional part also, and with any expression also. Now from here let us move to our next slide here. Another one aspect of the while loop that can be reading from a file in the shell program. Reading from a file, that is actually, so far we have used the read statement to read strings from the keyboard. Now we can use the same read statement also to carry out reading from a file. So in this case, if you look at this example, so here first the user is being asked for a file name, that is echo enter file name. So this will be displayed in the output screen, and user will give some input with some file name. Suppose that file name is getting read by within the variable fn. So within the variable here fn, the file name supplied by the user will be stored or scanned, whatever you can say. Then here we are seeing terminal equal to tty. That means here you can see that the name supplied as the file name is picked up as usual using the read statement. Here onwards reading should take place from the file. So this is actually achieved by the statement exec left arrow file name. Left arrow file name, that means the immediate statement after the terminal equal to tty, that is exec left arrow then dollar $fn. Fn is the file name. So it will read from the dollar file name, and hence with this statement it will continue to read from the file name. Actually this statement ensures that the input for the read statement now comes from the file and not from the keyboard. So here actually it will read from the file, not from the keyboard. This point is important here, that it will not read from the keyboard, it will read from the file. And the read statement here continues to read each line from the file and display it. When the end of file is reached and there are no more lines left to read, then the read statement again attempts to read a line. Here an exit status of 1 will be returned by the read statements, and hence the while loop will be terminated. So here you can, if we go through the next slide, here you can see that this reading will be continued until this exit status of 1 is come by the read statement, and after reading all the statement it will come to an end. So the while loop will be closed because nothing further have to be read. Now after completing this and after reading the whole file, hence the standard input that again will be reset back to the terminal. So that is the functionality here. So I'll continue this session of lecture for this up to this point. So thank you.